Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here into map number 2 between Order and Rewound. Order winning things out on the previous map of Nuke, 16-11. Although things looked like they may have been in a position where Rewound were beginning to mount that comeback, they were getting closer and closer. They're making the rounds a lot more heavily contested. Order were able to edge them out in the end. We'll have to see how things fare on Inferno. As far as I'm aware, a much more comfortable map here for that Rewound roster. Being a lot of closer score lines to the table in their regional qualifiers as well as regional leagues. Ooh. But Order, they'll start on the CT side, and Hats has already found the first kill. Keto's eliminated from the round, and he was the only player trusted to lock down the B bomb side, but Hats is doing it all. Although he's not able to prevent them from getting on towards the B side of things, he's done enough damage to at least make things closer. Zeph as well will deal with Noisia on the flank side. Llamas chimes right back. Only the one way in here for Order in through Banana, but Alistair gets another headshot. Andy left in a 1 versus 3. He cannot get it done. And they'll secure the defuse. Not quite sure why they cycled out the defuse between two players who don't have kits. Surely it makes sense for Inns to be able to get on that, just to make sure that we get into the next round as fast as possible. But nonetheless, Hat's doing a very good job getting 2 kills in that sort of a situation, as well as the fast response from Order, making use of that space that they're able to establish in middle as well as Banana, respectively. Just quickly throw up the odds. See a couple of people having a discussion in chat as to quite what to do. Maybe that provides a little bit of insight via our partners over at GGBet. Rather, GG.bet. We've got to make it a website somehow. Rewound though. The response into the second round is the same that we saw on Nuke. Not quite as a pressured situation, but they're still trying to battle for this attrition early on. Gonna be the ones that strike first, although Order have been able to at least secure that much. Just trying to see if they can potentially topple them when they've got rifles instead of these SMGs that the CT side have to work with, but they just gunned them down. It's a lawnmower of frags there from the Order camp, and they trade between them. Alistair's already there on the rotation. He'd made his way past the moto smoke. And those SMGs absolutely shredded Rewound. And that's all they lose for that one. In that one instance, they just lose SMGs. They hold on to the rifles respectively. Alistair even upgrades to the AK as well. This is going to be a pretty rough round here for Order. Ooh, a lot of nades done in towards Banana, and Hats is able to capitalize off the back of it. He gets the triple kill, and now tagged down. He's gonna pull into the loving arms of Inns, and now they'll crunch in towards that position. Mag finds the last 2. Well, it's just the eco victory there for Order. That's a very good confidence builder. Dealing with it as swimmingly as that. No casualties sustained for that CT side. Builds up their money a fair amount. The same sort of an instance is going to happen here for Order. On that CT side start, they don't lose too many of those SMGs. In fact, in that second round when they did lose Zeph and Imagine, they actually just rebought into them. So they're going to treat this as a bit of a bonus round. If they can upgrade into rifles for free, if possible. up close with the SMG. He got taken down, although he's able to do considerable damage. 2 llamas in response. Not quite enough to net themselves a frag. Zeph is even going to push off the back of this, and if he doesn't clear that close angle, things fall apart from there. He goes to clear it, but he can't track down the kill. Alistair has to make a very brazen play over at A to bring things a little bit closer. But Rewound now have the man advantage. So far, Llamas has been a huge issue for them, and he gets the third as well. He looked like he was just about to back away from that position. Immediately turns to face. Andy, though, he might not clear that angle. He gets taken down on the bomb site. In's up close, and he gets the secondary as well, staying alive for so long in this position. Llamas can't land the shot. He doesn't know if EMAG or if Inns is repositioned away from these boxes, and he's just gonna wait and wait and wait. Noisia could spam him down, but he doesn't want to give up his position as well. He knows that Llamas is compromised. They identified and spotted Inns. He's the player they need to deal with. He's going to try and attempt the spam now, but time is running low. 15 seconds remaining. Llamas is able to get the frag, but Hats answers right back. The bomb is recovered, but they can't get the last kill. Noisia clutches it back for the Rewound side. That's his first kill in the game, and a very crucial one at that. Phenomenal work there from Inns to stay alive for as long as possible. Just be a huge nuisance for Rewound. And tried his best to deny Llamas that frag for such a considerable amount of time. It was something like 30 or 40 seconds eaten off the clock just by holding that one position. But what a tear that Llamas is on to start off this game. He's 7-1. For Rewound, and he gotten 4 frags in that previous. Meanwhile, Valiant's a very strong contender in the previous map. Doesn't seem to be off to as hot a start. Already dealt with in the early stages of this round. A lot of damage exchange, and the nade finished him off. Dangerous game to be playing if you're Alistair. Jiggle peeking the angle, nade in hand, didn't quite spot the first jiggle peek there from that Rewound roster. Now they secure a bit of control over towards Banana. He's just going to be the one that pokes and prods with the SMG, even picks up the AK that was dropped by Valiance. And once that presence is made, Order have to respond in kind. They know that Rewound could have been setting up for that B-side execute. They could have been going for some sort of a contact play. And that's going to eat both the smokes out of the hands of those that CT side over at B. Meanwhile, they're creeping their way up towards the arches, but Alistair's close up with the ult. He gets the first one towards Noisia. The trade unavailable here for Rewound. Still 3 players remaining, and Alistair, he missed a sitter of a shot. Flashed away from the angle. He's still able to track down Keto in the end, and Andy will try his best. He jumps over the crosshair, but he's able to adjust in time, and Llamas cannot get it done either. 5 players will stay up for Order on the rifle round, as it will once again be a Rewound half-buy. Not able to string their economy on that respective portion of the map. Rewound not getting too many bomb plants either. That was something that they could really lean on Nuke. Even when things looked a little bit dicey, they were able to trade and get on towards the bomb sites respectively. It's going to be a fast play over towards B. Inns is flashed off, Hats as well, but he gets one. Inns is having to run away very swiftly from these players, and they're even crunching in through the construction and in towards Garden. Hats still deals with them, and he alleviates that pressure. Inns is still alive somehow. He's not the one that suffers as a result of that push. Instead, it's going to be Valiance in a 1 versus 2. Open hand. They know where he could be positioned, but he's got isolated duels in front of him. EMAG has crept his way past the smoke, and Valiance, if he doesn't fully clear that... Oh, the quick scope on towards EMAG. Alistair's now left alone. Very low HP on the last remaining player, but as he's about to reposition, Alistair catches a glimpse and eliminates his chances. Hats suffered for Inz's sins in that previous round. It almost gave things up in favor of Rewound. A very good rush down through the archers, and the fast rotation from Order was unavailable to try and prevent that fact. Decent amount of damage done will make the reserves of Order a little bit dwindle, but coming into another buy round here for Rewound, they're once again at a man disadvantage. Noisia is dealt with immediately there by Alistair. Alistair may still be looking for more. He's got himself posted in towards Boiler. As they move forward in towards middle, this is an opportunity that Alistair may just capitalize on. Bit of presence made over towards B. Oh, Llamas, you're tempting fate here. What about going for the swing towards short, but we'll think better of it. Rewound are very grouped up towards A. The presence made at B is acceptable at the very least to keep these Order players in towards the site. Now it's going to throw it over towards A, and Emag's able to get out of that situation relatively scot-free. Sustains heavy damage, but still going to be a nuisance for these Rewound players. Now Andy and Keto in a 2 versus 4, and they actually have to rely on Andy to get these entries. Keto's on such low HP that every bullet is lethal from here on out. Emag cannot track him down. He's dancing up and down between the site as it's now just Andy. Open his hands, and as he fires off the shot, Emag will swing. A 6th is accrued here for Order, and Rewound have really fallen flat in some of these rounds. A lot of it has been really pushed off the back of these early picks that Order are able to attain. We've seen it in a number of different players as well. It's no single player can be sort of, I don't want to say blamed, but you can't really shift that responsibility onto one player respectively, because we've seen Valiance go down, we've seen Noisia as well. And sometimes it's even Llamas, who's been one of the standout performers here for Rewound in this second map. Oh, fast play over towards B. The flashes are good to make a little bit more space for them. In's unable to answer back with a frag of his own. It's had to call a very early rotation. And Rewound, they seem privy to this. They're backing themselves away from that position, identifying that it may have been an over-rotation from that CT side, but they can't capitalize too much on the spacing. They'll still be 2 and 2 towards A and B. Still holding on his headshot angles. Got a decent amount of utility to play with. Alistair, although he gets smoked off, will actually move past the smoke. That could have been an opportunity for Rewound to maybe wrap in towards the B site, because that has been the response from Alistair a number of times when that moto smoke has been thrown. Instead, they're backing away and hitting this this B bomb site. Ins will spot the first one across. There's no smoke for in towards CT. It's a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of that CT side, and Emag's trying to be tracked down. The bomb was dropped towards CT, so they had to push further forward. Def and Alistair won't get there in time, not to prevent the plant. Noisia now a lot of responsibility. The smoke isn't very good at all. Zeph is led into a false sense of security, but at least these players are tagged up. Alistair, a couple of bullets each, but he sifts out towards the flashbang. 1-for-1, and although he spams down Noisia, Keto, he was the lower HP player. One of those bullets goes askew, hits him through the edge of the boxes. That may have been the round in Order's favor, but by the skin of their teeth, they will get a second. Good trading at least available for those last 2 players, but that could have been a fairly gutted round if Order are able to still chime it right back. Very winnable 1 versus 2 for that CT side. Rewound now will have an easier go of things. Just the pistols here for Order in round number 9. Good nades over towards B, however. Hints and Hats immediately take down Valiance. That's now a few times that he's been taken down by some of the early utility. They have to reposition, rethink his approach towards that particular portion of the map. Over towards B, however. Yep, Hats. That's an ult that's potentially brought into this following round. I just left into Noisia and Llamas. Noisia winning a pretty crucial 1v1. Llamas hitting some very nice shots as well. Certainly the sharper players available for Rewound in this particular state of affairs. Llamas, though, now left in with 3 players to find. Has the bomb in his back, but even though he's been sharp, that's a very hard angle to adjust to in time. And it's actually the pistols that triumph. And I'm not sure if at this point I should be surprised. We saw some very close pistol or sort of half-buy rounds in map number 1. I'm not completely caught off by Order winning that one. Especially with the way Rewound have been playing, in that they've been very grouped up in the way that they've approached this map. It's not quite as individualistic as we see some teams play it out, although it's typically that sort of partner or buddy system that you see implemented. Rewound are often pushing with 3 or 4 players, respectively, towards any given portion of the map. Outside of the apartments, where that has primarily been Llama's domain, they set up in a default very early on, and then they play either extremely isolated, or they just group up with 4 players, respectively. Ooh, Alistair getting spammed through the smoke. They're actually trying to boost ins above it. It's not actually going to be able to see too much. If they'd made their way up through short, that would have been an opportunity. But as the smoke's beginning to fade, it's going to be the 1 kill there for ins. They've lost the player in towards the pit, and Llamas is found as well. 2 for 1 in favor of Order, and now Rewound are moving back towards B. Hats is still here, though, and he's jump spotting for information. He's trying to see if these players are going to be moving into his crosshairs. There's the flash to try and keep them back. The smoke deployed as well. So the rotations should still come through here from Order, but you'd expect that Rewound may just jump through this. Yeah, they're going to try and take that chance. Andy, he gets the kill on towards Hats, but he takes down Keto in the process. Collateral damage sustained. And with only 20 seconds left to play with, this is a very difficult position to deal with. The smoke covers enough so that he can get the plant down. When he goes for the opportunity, EMAG will eliminate him. And that's the type of round you want instant replay for, because what has gone on there? Andy likely lines up the shot. And alongside it, Keto has attempted to save his opponent's life. Get down, Mr. President. Takes the bullet to the face, but it's high caliber enough that it just goes straight through his skull and into the opposition. That's at least the half victory secured here for Order. Although 1 is at a minimum of 10. And Alistair once again find an opening frag. Rewound. There've been a lot of man disadvantages, or rather man advantages given to Order within that sort of 30 or 40 second mark. Maybe look at that as a potential reason in which Order have been able to accrue so much already. Building that lead, already 6. It's a differential between the two. And this angle could be dangerous. They fully clear it. A bit of team damage done as well, but at least they track down that kill on towards ins. They had the inkling that he was there. committed very far into it. They had the smoke down in the arches to make things a little bit easier for them, but Alistair once again found a frag that pulls the advantage back. Rewound have to go towards this A site. Only 30 seconds remain and only the one smoke and nade to make use of. Zeph will smoke himself out to try and stay alive for as long as possible, but Alistair's trapped on the site. He's not going to be able to switch out to the pistol in time, and Hats is now left alone. Over towards the B side of things, he's not going to be able to stop the plant at all. Nowhere close enough, he at least has the kit available. With these players being tagged down as well, only a couple of bullets needed respectively for both. Inching into each of these angles, able to duck underneath the crosshair here of Valiance. He spots out the head. That's going to be an opportunity. Hats gets the first. The immediate trade could have been there for Noiser, but now his position's known. Hats needs to get on this defuse, and as he goes for it, Noiser's going to be able to take that fight. It's very dangerous for him to do so, but he's done enough. He stayed alive for long enough, and Hats won't be able to do too much. He takes down Noiser in the end, but the round ultimately goes to Rewound. And it will be a pause called here from Rewound. Their money's not in the best of states. Although they won that previous round, they're going to see a bit of an equipment and utility lossage into this round number 12. Meanwhile, on the order side of things, this is a position in which they could potentially force up around the economy that Alistair and you look at EMAG as well have been able to accrue. Does seem like that will be the response here from Order. Let's have a quick look at the stats, respectively. They're pretty heavy ADR in the early stages. Of course, with it only being 11 rounds in, the sample size isn't quite so large, but so far, EMAG leading the ADR. Hats, 324 utility damage as well. You can see why. Over towards B has been grenades exchanged in the early stages every single time, and once again it's Valiance. An opening engagement given up to Order. Now the third or the fourth time that he's died isolated over at B, and nobody in a position in which to trade. No immediate response from the T side, although they will take brackets control, which is a fairly common response when you lose banana. Taking brackets or banana. That's your advantage. Ooh, Alistair baited out by the shoulder. You can see how much confidence they're leaving in Hats' hands. They leave all of B just for Hats, because they know that smoke timing is up, and now EMAG will rotate over. Hats had to deploy his own smoke. So a few seconds really given for EMAG to reinforce that A-bomb site. Now they'll play a bit more of a standard setup. Seconds, and they still haven't made a commitment towards either of these sites. Rewound is really cutting it close here. They need to go quickly. Oh my, Alistair's lined them up as they've committed towards the site. That is a round in which you don't really understand what the end objective is there for Rewound. They've pushed in the last 20 seconds of the round, and if anything goes wrong, if one position goes unchecked and he's able to get any level of impact, similar to what Alistair's able to accomplish, sure, that's a bit of an anomaly in that he's able to get the double, but still, you leave yourself no room for error. You rely heavily on very swift entries, and it just doesn't seem like that's a plan that's all too sustainable. Not even able to secure it in that one instance. Malaysia over at B. The damage done with the Deagles in hand. So far, Rewound winning in the early damage exchanges. Actually, about equal. Zins is at 36 himself. Hat's taking a bit of an off angle to take down Andy. Although Order were over-rotated towards B to meet them head-on, it does seem like they're thinking better of it. Inz has moved back over towards the arches. We've seen him quite traditionally, SMG in hand as he was tagged down from the early fight to go for the wide swing, but unable to get anything done. Hellstar will at least pick up the pieces from there. As the arch is contained, knows that they cannot wrap towards the B side of things, but now with 30 seconds left, Rewound do seem like they're going to be committing towards B. Emag has a Molotov in hand, and as he takes first contact, Hats is dealt with, but the Molotov will siphon them off. As they cheat above the flames, Llamas is burnt to a crisp. They will drop the bomb over. Balance trying to buy up enough space that that plank goes down, and as Keto dials in the digits, there's still 3 more players to find. Emag's waited for his teammates, they get the kill in the end. And that is a plant that has been brought forward by the pistols. There's at least some decent cash injection for Rewound to be able to work with. But so far, Order are doing a good job of minimizing risk. They're making use of, as well, the low HP player in Inns. You could have seen in that previous round, he'd taken those fights early on with the AUG in play, but because Emag was making that rotation over, he goes instead towards the arches. They swap weapons and they try and, although Inns is low HP and they have a man advantage already, Order wanted to maybe secure a little bit more map control and get an understanding of how Rewound were going to approach that half-buy situation. That's a good kill over towards Noisha. This time it's not Valiance that's been giving up these kills over towards Banana, but Noisha isolated. Now the second time in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Out of the instances in which Order have been able to find an early pick. But it has been a pretty consistent factor through this whole half. Still, these early advantages being given up towards that CT side. Either it's Alistair on the AWP or it's Hats and Inns over on the B side of things. And we haven't seen any of these sort of faster plays towards A. Typically, it's been that smoke towards Moto, the arch smoke as well to maybe flush them out, but no play out of the apartments, no faster play up short, and Hats and Inns are going to be able to lock things down over at B. A 2-for-1 exchange so far. Inns will even take the off angle so that Andy has a very difficult angle to check as he goes towards the site. But because he's got the open hand, he's just going to try and save. Doesn't have the reserve cash available to bring that forward into a following round. But Emag may just be able to cut him off. Andy's in the apartments. He's heard him make that rotation. They're even trying to spam him from Banana as well. So Andy knows his position is compromised. He knows that one of them has to be up close, and they're trying to find him after time. He goes around the corner, he gets the first, and he's going to be able to get away with it. They really, really wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to be an issue. That AWP wasn't going to be a factor. They fall short. And he's going to still be able to bring that into this following round. Could have potentially bought up a flashbang. It is the last round of the half, so you'd assume that he would have done exactly that. They even have... Why have they not fully bought on every single one of their players? Rewound... Valiance could have bought more utility, I think. Unless he's thrown absolutely everything towards Banana in the first 15... I'm a bit confused. Seems like instances in which they could have been able to buy up a bit more. Although they found the early picking towards Alistair. There's Andy being taken down respectively. Both AWP players, or at least the primaries, dealt with on each side. Now falling into that secondary position is Noisia and Emag. Bit of a whiff smoke there from Zeph. Emag there with the AWP takes down Noisia. The long barrel gives him up just before the peak as well. But Emag was extremely ready to fire off that shot. Now 35 seconds remain. Rewound going to be hitting towards the A side of things, and there's 3 players here. Inns holding that arch rotation, and as they try and wrap that timely Molotov as well, that will eat up even more time off the clock. Rewound don't have this time to play with. They needed to have just ran through some of the fire and flames. Llamas and Keto, last 2 remaining, they'll make their way and converge on the site. Keto gets the first, and Emag only able to get the one on the cross. That secures the plant for Llamas, but Inns immediately eliminates him. Secures the defuse, and Order have been able to get a 12th on the board. Provided Inns actually commits to the defuse, he's very happy to fire off a couple of celebratory shots to his teammates. And what a half there from Order. Very lackluster performance, I'd like to think, from the side of Rewound. And although Llamas got off to a very hot start for that side, he wasn't able to contribute in the same way moving through the rest of the half. I think he was up to 7 or 8 kills in the first 4 or 5 rounds, and since then only 2 in that regard. You can see in the odds, the second map odds here for Order versus Rewound. I think that's a specific number total rounds. People were fairly convinced. I saw you guys having the conversation. 11 and a minimum for Rewound. I don't even know if they're even able to get themselves up to that number. So far, it's been a very lopsided affair. We'll see if Rewound can do a little bit better over towards the CT side of things. It does seem like they've overstacked this B bomb site. This is maybe a hard read into how Order set themselves up. Early apartments pressure, you could see it's Andy that had spotted and made a bit initial presence. That's going to funnel Order in. Oh, this is interesting here from Rewound. They've done their homework, it seems, and they're prepared for the hit here from Order. The smokes will come through, but will they suspect the stack here from Rewound? Noisia, a timely smoke in response, the flash behind it, and they're going to go straight through the smokes. Noisia gets one, a second as well, fully flashed up. Valiant's able to contribute as well, but Emag and Alistair are still alive and kicking. They don't suspect the stack. Alistair's caught out. Emag's taking the damage as well. Now it's Alistair in a 1 versus 3. Bomb dropped at the disposal of these CTs, Llamas. It's allowed him to creep himself forward. Exactly his position as a result of baiting out that reload. Llamas, Keto able to dodge the shots and track him down. Rewound, a very brazen call coming into the pistol the second half. They needed that pistol, and they'd make the right call to deal with the push from Order. Shows a familiarity and respect as well to their opponents. Rewound making the read and Order suffering as a result of it. Now just Glocks brought into this following affair. Contact play in towards the B side of things. They'll funnel themselves in towards Valiance as well as his respective teammate in Noisia, but Noisia may not suspect the flank. It's there. The headshot as well. No head armor brought up by Noisia. That's a bit of an interesting decision considering you'll know that they're on pistols. Overexposed in that particular fight. And he's able to answer back on towards ins, but Kito sustained heavy damage towards Banana. That's with this M4 could have been dangerous, but now it's just Imagine. No more opposition, has a lacking head armor. So he lands the initial headshot, unable to land subsequent damage. And Rewound will bring the lead within 7. This is the true test now for Rewound. Order seemed very strong on their rifles on their CT side, respectively. Whereas Rewound, when they were on rifles, were a bit hit or miss. There were a few opportunities, and we've said it a few times already. Some very explosive play coming out from Llama specifically. You have to imagine Order are prepared to fight on this portion of the map as well. Doesn't seem like too many strong protocols in order for either team just yet. The pressure being felt towards the top of Banana. Noisha trying to do the lead device nade. It could be so called that. The idea is for if Hats were going to be standing on those barrels towards that top car position, we've taken a decent amount of damage as a result. Early utility being thrown over towards A. This is brackets control secured here for Order, and Keto is in a very one-and-done angle. The Molotov flushed Andy back as well, so he couldn't support his teammate, preventing him from going down. It's a one-for-one exchange. Zeph didn't want to take that fight either as a result of being low HP, and Order are going to be funneled in towards the B side of things. Doesn't seem like Rewound have that read, though. Noisha is making his way in towards the arches and trying to reinforce the A side, and Valiance is left alone. The flash is good as well, but he's not able to get anything done. It's a decent amount of damage on towards Hats, but Noisha is taken down through the smoke as well. The plant's secured, and although kits are available here for Rewound, the B bomb site's been lost so quickly that deep CT is a concern. The flank as well, or inroads towards Banana, would have been likely secured here from Order, so they're just going to save these weapons. Order now up to 13. They win their first gun round, and although Rewound seemed to have gotten off to a decent start on the CT side of things, winning the pistol and the subsequent in a fairly timely manner. Order, now that they're on rifles, look to be a much stronger opponent. Obviously, pistols, we can talk about how random those are in their own right. But a bit of an over-rotation, I think, there from Rewound being capitalized on by that Order offensive. Ito. Oh, that nade does so much damage to Order. Minimum of 30 damage respectively, and the follow-up nade does it a lot as well. Suddenly, everybody on the side of Order is pretty much half HP or less, and that makes things so much easier for that CT side to work with. Hats survives on 1 HP, and it's going to be a fast play towards A as a response. As a result of taking so much damage in the early stages, Hats is still contributing. 1 HP, and he's found a secondary kill. Kito's been Molotov'd out, but it doesn't matter. He jumps above the flames, finds the kills in the end, and although he subjects himself to the fire in the end, there's only Valiance left alive. He does just enough to secure the round for Rewound. A much faster round than what we're used to seeing so far in this game. Order had to make some sort of a push. It seemed like the jig was up. They took so much from the utility of that CT side. It was just trade after trade after trade, and Valiance, that's not the peak you want to see over towards the B-bomb site. Noisia has to double down. The third as well. He does enough to buy him space, get the rotations in towards the B side of things, in spite of those early frags going their way, but Alistair's dealt with Keto on the flank. He was trying to secure a position towards bottom banana, and suddenly this is a huge opportunity. Zeph gets one. The secondary may soon follow, and that's the B-bomb site cracked wide open. The issue is, Llama siphons them off. As Alistair recovers the bomb, that's it, dropped at Llama's disposal. This round is bouncing back and forth between who's expected to win it, but so far it seems like all the cards are being held by Llamas. He's even repositioning. He's given up the bomb as a result. And Zeph is going to eat up so much time wondering where Llamas is relocated to. Zeph clearing out the angles. Llama's going to hear some of these footsteps. Knows that the bomb has been recovered here from Zeph. The issue is, because Llamas had given up that bomb, does he suspect that he's rotated in towards the B side of things, or does he take the fight? It seemed like Llama was prepared, and he wins the round there for Rewound. The double kill in the 1 versus 2, but isolated engagements for Llamas to work with, and using the map to his maximum effectiveness. He knew that Zeph had secured B, and he knew he could rotate however he wanted from there. So difficult for Zeph to deal with it in that type of a situation, because he could have been in the C side apartments, he could have been over towards the B site, sitting on the A site. There's just so many different possibilities for Llamas to play with, but a very crucial clutch for Rewound on the CT side. Of course, lest we forget, that was only the half buy from Order that brings things so close. Rewound out of reserves. The money in the tank has dwindled. What could have been fueling them for a couple of rounds in a row is now just the one if Order are able to topple them here. They secure now round number 14. It will likely be a 15th, not soon to follow. A lot of utilities being eaten up by Rewound as they look for any semblance of information. Keto, Molotov in response to the smoke being thrown, and Zeph has gone out before his gun's been pulled. Alistair, 1-for-1 exchange, almost a lineup opportunity for Andy. Now these two players on the site have a lot on their plate. Inns looking for the way in, and he gets the 2 kills. A site secured. And Valiance and Noisia, they're on these rotations, and Inns is prepared. He spots out the shadow that gives him up early. Valiance, 1 versus 2. Hat's spotted out on the site. He knows where Inns is as well. They go for the double swing. Inns was prepared as well to trade if Hats had fallen. But this is that situation we were talking about. Rewound out of reserves. 1,400 on a couple of their players. 1,700 on Llamas and Noisia, and 2,500 for Keto. They will force buy into this. They're trying to battle it out at the final stages. And although these pistols have been dangerous, although Order had a round like this on their CT side respectively, does seem like Rewound are committing early towards a stack. 4 players located over towards A. They will trust Noisia to be as elusive as possible. Or at the very minimum, buy them enough time to rotate away. Unforced smoke over towards the B side of things. Balance taking a lot of damage. The nade will instead hit Keto as a result of that peek. Noise just playing around the back of that smoke. Hats as well was poking and prodding. And Order are going to hit towards this B bomb site. Smoke in towards CT. They can't really do anything to stop it. They'll attempt the boost over, and Noise has been given an opportunity. Can't track down the kill though. The CZ has failed him, and Valiance isn't even given the chance as he swings around the corner. The pre-fire through the smoke. Llamas and Keto. The last two here for Rewound. This is likely an Order 15. Llamas and Keto aren't even really going for this. Just trying to secure a rifle into the following round if possible. No kits available, of course, but you find the one kill. If Llamas is able to recover that one weapon as a result, but as he swings out, Hats has dealt with him. And as if it was ever really in doubt, Order one round away from securing map number 2, winning the series 2-0 overall. As it seemed like people were fairly confident. There was a lot of chatter about how the odds may reflect and whether Rewound were going to be able to get at least 11, but you can see the odds reflected exactly as you would expect. Very much in favor of Order as Rewound looked to try and bring things closer at the very minimum. Force an overtime to bring us to match number 3, but they need 8 in a row to do so. And Rewound just have pistols to work off of. This is just going to be the Deagles and CZs that keep them alive. See Keto looking for a way in, looking for some sort of an opportunity to be capitalized off of. As the Molotov fades, he's going to see if he can maybe find some space in the apartments. He'll hear them rotating away. He knows exactly where Order are going, and Keto even tries to rattle off a few shots to get them on the rotation. They're going to start stacking this B bomb site, but they need to move quickly. Hats is making some presence. Noise just spamming through the smokes, and Order still posturing up for this offensive. Noise just even taken down through the smoke, and they're actually doubling right back. I think Keto firing off that one bullet as he'd spotted them out of the apartments may have given the game back up to Order. They recognized that the stack may have been coming through. And Keto, he gets the one. Able to stay alive in the apartments for now, but there's still 3 more players to find, and Andy answers with 2 kills on the site. AK recovered. He gets the 3rd. Suddenly it's the 1 versus 1 between Hats and Keto. He knows he's on the flank. He knows exactly where Keto can be, and he's low HP. Hats trying to secure the quad kill for Order to deliver round number 16, but Keto still stands in his path. Keto taking the high ground. Hats isn't even going to peek him. Don't take the opportunity, but Hats is spammed down. 3 HP. Keto clutches it back. The 2 versus 4 for Rewound to bring things forward. They survive for a little bit longer. All of it capitalized there. Or catalyzed between Andy and Keto. Even recovering the AWP off the back of it, that's a nice little reward to throw over to the man that found those 2 Deagle kills on the retake. A pat on the back for now, but Rewound still needs 7 more. We'll have an easier time moving into this next round. It's just Deagles and the 1 scout on Hats, but that won't be too much of a comfort. Oh, Andy gets 1 with the AWP. Rewound looking pretty good so far in this early portion of this round. Inzen, Imagine, 2 versus 5. Still scouting a Deagle kicking about. And the boost up over. Oh, that's a lovely boost to pull out. Andy never really stood a chance. They'll make some ground over towards the B side of things. Imagine will try and secure safe passage. Meanwhile, Inns has to go back and recover the bomb. So isolated engagement so far, but Imag has now picked up the AWP. And use that to cut off the rotations as they move on forward. Imagine's given the opportunity. And the scout headshot from Inns as well. Scope proficiency from Order. What was a 2 versus 5 is now equal numbers. Order get the bomb planted, and neither of these players is too close to deal with it. Llamas and Keto will start moving their way forward from both CT and Banana respectively, but Inns has found the headshot, now left all onto Keto. Surely not the open play, and Order bring it right back. What should have been an easy state of affairs for that Rewound side. You cannot give Order anything to play with, and they show you exactly why. Scouts, Deagles, the AWP. What a performance from those two players in the clutch. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, that will be all she wrote here for this particular Oceanic closed qualifier. That's my segment now done. There's another game coming up after this one. It will be a little bit delayed between this one and the next as a result of this only being a 2-map series. I appreciate all of you tuning in. We want to see you as well in the following matchup. I do believe you'll be joined by Zesht for that one, if I'm not mistaken. But otherwise, my name has been Yumi. Thank you all for tuning in. Please make sure to follow this channel as well as my channel's link respectively. And we hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care.